So I spent all day on the water today. All day. And that was pretty awesome. There was a drive in between water to water. So technically not all day if you want to argue with me. Don't argue with me. I'll come up with something stupid to win. I spent all day on the water today. The Hobie is tested. I am very happy. There goes Chris Potempa. He was the last person I fished with. So I started the day off this morning. Went to Cazenovia Lake with JP. Specifically to target bluegill. And we were not disappointed. Wow. It was awesome. So, you know, a lot of people, a lot of anglers when they get older, they don't want anything to do with sunfish, bluegill, panfish. And I really don't understand why. If you just want to have fun, if you want to remember what it felt like to be a little kid, then you got to go fishing for bluegill. When they're stacked up along the edges and there's beds all over the place, they will eat anything that they can fit in their mouth, and they will eat most of the stuff that they can't fit in their mouth. I started out with these little tiny poppers. Tiny poppers. And I was all proud of myself because I had these old poppers. I don't know how old they were, but they were old. We'll call them antiques. I'm gonna fish these old antique poppers. This will be awesome. There's no reason to keep them. And I did. And the first three that I cast, the first pop, the first bluegill, all three of them gone. I couldn't tie a knot apparently to save my life. So I still have what's left of that old popper box, and I didn't fish any more of them because I don't want to lose anymore. So then I put on a really tiny streamer, and that felt like it seemed like it wasn't going to work at first. The poppers were like instant. It hit the water, and you could just see all these little black missiles converge on the popper, and it's like they race each other to get to it first. That's what they do. They're all trying to beat the other one to it. But then when they get there, the poppers, they would take it. And I lost the three, and I put the streamer on. So then you cast a streamer. Very small streamer. I love doing that. I love fishing small streamers. The streamer would hit the water, and you'd see all these little black missiles shoot from every direction. They'd all spin 180 degrees, face the streamer, and they'd all race to it. And maybe they'd nip at it, but they wouldn't take it. And they'd follow it, and I could just hear their voices underwater while they're following the streamer. They're like, you touch it. No, you touch it. You won't bite it. Well, you won't bite it either. You touch it. Somebody get Mikey. Mikey will touch it. It was like Finding Nemo, I'm sure. Remember when Nemo and all his classmates, they're at the edge of the reef, and there's that boat out there, and they call the boat a butt, and they're like, Nemo, you won't swim out there and touch that butt. Yes, I will. And Nemo swims out, and they're like, he's gonna touch the butt. This was the bluegill with the streamer. And then Nemo puts his fin up, and his father's like, stop! And he touches the boat, and they're all like, oh, he touched the butt. That's what they were doing with my streamer. And it was pretty cool. But it finally started working. I think you gotta get some fish smell on it. And then all the others are convinced that, oh, all right, it's good, we'll take it too. So we had a blast fishing for bluegill up and down the side of Cazenovia Lake. Cazenovia Lake is all, from what I could tell, it's all private property, all houses on the lake all the way around. One end of it had a parking area, all boulders, so you couldn't put a big boat in, but you could put canoes and kayaks in there. So, now I get the hiccups. So that's what we did. We went up and down one side of the lake. Man, crystal clear water. Like super clear. you could, while we're fishing for the bluegill, we're watching all these bass swimming underneath us. It was just really cool. None of the bass would touch anything, but the bluegill were on everything. We had a blast. I don't know how many JP caught. I caught a couple handfuls of them. He was doing really well. I think the last one he caught, he put this huge popper on. It wasn't this one, but let's just say it was close to this size. For a bluegill, which I knew it was going to work. He joked around, let's see if they'll take it. Of course they'll take it. I knew it was going to work. They couldn't fit it in their mouth, but they could fit the hook in their mouth, and that's all that mattered. They will take anything. Man, it was a blast. So that was the first lake we hit, and the Hobie was awesome. I am so glad that I bought. So what I bought was the Humpy Mirage Compass and the Camo Edition, because the Camo Edition comes with the 180 drive, which means it has reverse, and it's a few $100 extra for that 180 drive for the Camo Edition, and I am so glad I did it. Perfect example why. Jordan is catching bluegill. He's anchored off with his canoe, and he's casting under this tree in this one spot, and the wind's pushing me around. I'm not anchored off, but I got my phone up, and I'm videoing him. And as the wind is pushing me, well, I go forward, and I steer with this hand, turn the rudder with this hand, and I keep filming. And I was able to go forward, come in close, let the wind drift to me, come right across close to him, grab the reverse lever, flip it to reverse, back away from him, steer back up into the wind, come back over. I was able to maneuver all around him while he was fishing, keeping one hand with the phone up in the air. It was my buddy Dog. Hi, Dog. And where was I? Oh, so I was able to do all this because I can pedal with my feet, and it's got reverse and steer with one hand. You don't need to, it was just awesome. There's no paddling. It was, I am so happy with that thing, and man, does it move good. And I'm also getting better at standing in it. This is my third or fourth time having it out. So when you stand in one of these things, you know how it is. If you stand up and the thing rocks a little bit, your body does that, oh crap, I'm about to tip over. And your body tenses up and you jerk and you make it worse. So what I found with the Hobie is, if you look at the hull of this thing, it's like 3 pontoons. There is so much airspace on the sides. They're like pontoons on the side. There's so much airspace in those outside pontoons that, sure, it's going to lean a little bit because it's a kayak. But when you stand, if you step to one side or the other and get the kayak to lean, instead of jerking your body, that reaction to pull back, crap, I'm going to tip, just go with it. Push down with your feet the way it's tipping, and it will stop. It has too much air. There's too much pontoon on the side of it. It's not going to tip. You push down in, and it gets to a point where it can't go any deeper. It cannot tip, and it just stays there. It was really cool. There was one point that, so it's really stable. There was one point that Jordan was anchored off next to me with his canoe, and I was fishing. And the wind spun us a little bit. And I kind of wanted to fish on the side that Jordan was on at that point. So he looked at me, the canoe being right next to me, and he says, I got you screwed right now. You want to fish over here, don't you? And I said, don't worry about it. I was standing up in front of the seat. I flipped the seat down with my foot. I stepped over the seat and stood in the back to get around the front of his canoe. I stood in the back of the kayak. I walked around on this thing, not just standing in front of the seat. It is so stable. It's awesome. It's only going to get better. Each time I stand up in it and it moves a little bit, I'm getting better at telling myself, just go with it. Don't do the whole knee-jerk reaction of, oh, we're going to tense up. And it's getting better and better. I'm really glad I bought the Hobie. So we left there. Jordan went home. We got some Mickey D's for lunch. Good greasy heartburn coming on later. Jordan went home, and I went to Leland Pond, which I fished it a couple times. I didn't fish it last year. I fished it a couple times in the past. It's got, you know, bass and bluegill in it, but pickerel too, I think. But I've been told that they stock it with tiger muskie, which would be cool. There's tiger muskie and pike in it. Where Cazenovia Lake was super clear, Leland Pond was pretty murky. I didn't have any completely black flies, so I tried some dark purple with a bunch of flash. I tried the white and red, the old tried and true pike standby. All with steel leaders, because you just don't know in this place. Even a pickerel will break you off if you don't have a steel leader. And we just struck out for a couple of hours. It just wasn't happening. And it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. I got one tug by somebody's boat dock, but the fishing just wasn't happening. We were getting ready. Leland Pond is basically two ponds, and they connect with each other under the road. So we were gonna leave the first pond, carry across the road, put in the second pond, and I had almost tried everything in the fly box. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna put a popper on, and then I will have tried everything in the fly box. I put a frog popper on, a little foam popper fly. I still had the wire leader on. Fishing a popper with a wire leader, I had nothing to lose because we hadn't caught anything there anyways. And I was literally thinking to myself, all right, this last cast, if I don't catch anything, I'm done. We'll go across the road to the other part of the pond. So I had it in reverse. The kayak actually moves faster in reverse than forward. It's amazing. It just hauls butt. You can do that thing where, like in the movies, where everybody does with the cars, where they're flying in reverse in a car chase, and then they whip the car around and then throw it forward and keep on going. You can, it's a lot slower, but you can actually do that with the kayak. It goes so fast in reverse, you can get hauling butt in backwards. Crank the rudder all the way to one side, and the boat will swing around and reach down and pull forward and then keep on going. It's just really cool. So I was in reverse, kind of trolling the popper, which I hate trolling with a fly rod, but listen, if it catches a fish, it catches a fish. I was trolling this popper really slow, and wouldn't you know it, wham, I got a largemouth on it right before we went to the next pond. It was 12 inches, maybe, I don't know. It was a really heavy fish, no matter how small it was. That's what you gotta tell yourself to make yourself feel better. We tried the pond on the other side, and there was nothing, but moral of the story is, I wasn't at work today. I got really comfortable with the Hobie. I am so glad I bought the thing. So I'm just gonna say, I got two morals for this video. If you want something, and it's gonna make you happy when you use it, buy it. Save up the money. Don't go crazy at work, but if you gotta work some overtime for it, work some overtime for it. And buy the thing. If you don't spend your money on what you really want, you're gonna have to spend your money on something you don't want that you need. And if you don't have the money at that time, you're gonna have to pull it out of your butt like you would for any other emergency. If you want something like an awesome fishing kayak, buy the kayak. Worry about everything else afterwards. And my second moral to this video is, if you got a job and they give you sick days and personal days and vacation days, use them. You know why they give you those days? Because it's your time. It's still your time. Even when you're on their time at work, it's still your time. It's your life. And whatever time you don't use at work, that's your time to use exactly how you want to use it. My lawn hasn't been mowed in a week now. The neighbors are probably all looking at me like I'm a scumbag. They usually do. They knew it was coming. It happened last year. They knew it was going to happen this year. It is what it is. Because I got more important things to do than mow a lawn. It's just going to grow again. I'll probably mow it tomorrow. Maybe. But use your time. I used a personal day today. I needed a mental health day. I need a lot of mental health days. That doesn't say a lot of good stuff for me, probably. Or maybe it's because I know what I need to do to keep my mental health in the right direction. Use your time. Don't be a slave to your job. Buy what it is you need to do to use it and be happy, like this Hobie on the roof that I bought. And use your time. Don't live at work. You gotta work, pay your bills, but don't live there. They are going to replace you when you leave, just like they replace somebody else with you. And that is a fact. Everybody at any company can be replaced. From the smallest person to the president. They can find somebody to take your place. You need to do what you gotta do to take care of yourself. Which is why I called in sick today and went fishing. So, you know, this should be my 10th video, and 2 videos ago I thought to myself, I think I'm just going to do 10 and call it quits, because I'm just not feeling it. YouTube, I still not convinced that YouTube's really for me, but I'll tell you what, now that I got this kayak, and I'm going to start hitting a lot more lakes and stuff, I don't know, maybe I'll get a GoPro or something, so I can do better videos, or stand for my phone. I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is, this is episode number 10, and I'm not ready to quit. Maybe I'm ready to start doing cooler stuff. If I can convince one person to call in sick and go fishing, then it's all worth it for me to keep doing these videos. Call in sick, go fishing. So subscribe to my channel, and I promise you the videos are going to get better. I might even do some fishing in them. I'm not going to teach you anything, but I might actually fish in them. All right? Cool. Next time.